The immigrant who built Bank of America. In the early 1900s, banking was a private club. A club for the rich, the connected, and the established. If you were an immigrant, a farmer, or just an ordinary person with a big dream but a small wallet, those polished brass doors were slammed shut. The financial system wasn't just intimidating. It was designed to keep the wealthy on top and the little guy on the outside, looking in. But what happens when one man, the son of immigrants, who was dismissed by that very system, decides that instead of trying to join their club, he'll just build a better one? A club where the only membership requirement was character. This is the story of how a defiant vision, born from pure frustration, built a financial empire that would change America forever. In the fiery chaos after the 1906 San Francisco earthquake, the city was on its knees. Buildings had crumbled, fires were raging, and the financial heart of the West Coast was paralyzed. Terrified of a run on their banks, the city's most powerful bankers locked their vaults, refusing to lend a single dollar to the desperate citizens trying to rebuild. But while they were hiding, one man took action. He loaded his bank's entire reserves, about $80,000 in gold and cash, onto a pair of horse-drawn produce wagons, cleverly hid the fortune under crates of oranges, and wheeled it to safety. The very next day, with the city still smoldering, he set up a makeshift bank on the waterfront, using a wooden plank stretched over 2 barrels. Under a hand-scrawled sign that read, "Bank of Italy, open for business," he started handing out loans based on nothing more than a person's face and their word. This man, Amadeo Pietro Giannini, wasn't just rebuilding a city, he was building what would become Bank of America. Section 1, The Old World, a system of exclusion. To really get what AP Giannini was up against, you have to picture the world he was rebelling against. In the early 20th century, American banking wasn't for everybody. It was an aristocratic system that catered almost exclusively to big corporations and the wealthy elite. For the waves of immigrants pouring into cities like San Francisco, a bank was a fortress. These were stone-faced institutions run by men who didn't speak their language and didn't trust their ambition. They saw these newcomers not as customers, but as unacceptable risks. Small businesses, farmers needing a loan for seed, and working-class families hoping to buy a home were turned away as unbankable. This left millions of hard-working people with nowhere to safely keep their money and no way to get the credit they needed to build a life. They were forced to hide cash under mattresses or turn to predatory loan sharks who charged crushing interest rates. The system wasn't just broken for them, it was never built for them in the first place. Section 2, The Inciting Incident, a personal mission AP. Giannini knew this world because he came from it. Born in San Jose, California in 1870 to Italian immigrants, he was no product of Wall Street. He was a product of the land. After his father's tragic death, Giannini left school at 13 to work for his stepfather's wholesale produce business. For nearly 2 decades, he was a commission merchant, a real go-getter, who crisscrossed California, building relationships with the very farmers and merchants the big banks ignored. He understood their struggles, he knew their work ethic, and most importantly, he saw their character. He was so successful that by age 31, he was able to retire, financially secure, but retirement didn't stick. After his father-in-law passed away, Giannini was asked to manage his estate, which included a seat on the board of a local bank in San Francisco's North Beach. It was there that his frustration finally boiled over. He repeatedly clashed with the other directors who stubbornly refused to lend money to the local Italian immigrants he knew were good for it. After one explosive argument, he stormed out, famously declaring he'd start his own bank. It wouldn't be a bank for the elite, it would be a bank for the little fellows. Section 3. Rising Action, the bank for the little guy. On October 17, 1904, in a converted saloon, AP Giannini made good on his promise and opened the Bank of Italy. From day one, it was a revolution. Giannini didn't sit behind a desk waiting for customers. He went out and found them, a practice unheard of at the time. He hired tellers who could speak Italian, Spanish, and other languages, making immigrants feel welcome. He offered loans not based on what they owned, but on his personal judgment of their character, a skill he had perfected in the produce markets. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Working-class families, women farmers, and small business owners flocked to his bank. Deposits soared, growing from just $8,180 on the first day to over $700,000 in the first year. Then came the ultimate test, the 1906 earthquake. Giannini's quick thinking to save the bank's assets put him in a league of his own. While other bankers' vaults were either too hot to open or their owners were too scared to act, the Bank of Italy was open for business on the waterfront. He extended credit on a handshake to anyone looking to rebuild, fueling the city's reconstruction with trust. He believed the calloused hands of a laborer were better collateral than any stock certificate. This single act cemented his reputation as a man who stood by his community when it mattered most. Section 4. Building an empire. The branch banking pioneer. The earthquake didn't just save Giannini's bank, it supercharged his vision. He realized a single bank in one location was vulnerable, but a network of banks spread across different towns and economies would be far more resilient. Starting in 1909, Giannini kicked off an aggressive campaign that would permanently alter American finance. He started buying banks across California and turning them into branches of the Bank of Italy. This was the birth of modern branch banking in the US. At the time, the idea was radical and fiercely opposed by the establishment, who feared the competition. But Giannini pushed on. By 1918, the Bank of Italy was the first statewide branch system in the country. His expansion wasn't just about size, it was about access. He opened branches in small farm towns and growing cities, bringing financial services to people who'd never had them. In 1928, he consolidated his growing network by merging with the Los Angeles Bank and formed the Bank of America of California. Just 2 years later, in 1930, it was officially renamed the Bank of America National Trust and Savings Association. The Immigrants' Bank was now a force to be reckoned with. Section 5. The climax. Surviving the crash. When the Roaring Twenties came to a screeching halt with the Great Depression, the American banking system crumbled. Thousands of banks, including many of Giannini's powerful rivals, failed. They called in loans, hoarded cash, and locked their doors, leaving customers with nothing. Fear gripped the financial world, but A.P. Giannini saw things differently. While others saw only risk, he saw an obligation to his customers. Bank of America didn't just survive the Depression, it thrived by doubling down on its founding principles. Giannini kept lending to businesses and individuals, believing that the only way out of the crisis was to invest in people and the economy. His statewide network of branches gave the bank stability. A downturn in one part of California could be balanced by strength in another. His most legendary move came in 1932. Construction of the Golden Gate Bridge, a project other banks deemed impossibly risky during the Depression, had stalled. The lead engineer, Joseph Strauss, came to Giannini as a last resort. Giannini listened, saw the project's importance for San Francisco's future, and simply said, "We'll take the bonds." Bank of America financed the massive project, providing the critical capital that built one of the world's most iconic landmarks. Section 6. The legacy. From Hollywood to Main Street, Giannini's bold vision didn't stop at bridges. He saw huge potential in a fledgling, high-risk industry that other bankers literally laughed at: Hollywood. He created a motion picture loan division as early as 1923 and financed the early careers of legends like Charlie Chaplin. When a young Walt Disney went millions over budget on his ridiculously risky animated film, Snow White, it was Giannini who stepped in with the loan that saved the movie and, quite possibly, the future of the Disney empire. He financed California's agricultural boom and its now world-famous wine industry. And in 1921, decades ahead of his time, he established a dedicated women's banking department run by women for women to promote their economic independence. By the time A.P. Giannini retired in 1945, Bank of America was the largest commercial bank in the world. he had started with a radical idea: to serve the little fellow. In doing so, he had built an institution that funded the growth of modern California and completely changed the definition of who a bank should serve. Section 7. The Modern Behemoth. Today's Bank of America is a global titan, a direct descendant of Giannini's vision, but also the product of decades of massive expansion. The pivotal moment came in 1998 with the colossal merger between Giannini's California-based Bank America and the East Coast powerhouse Nations Bank. The new company took the Bank of America name, but set up its headquarters in Charlotte, North Carolina, creating the first truly coast-to-coast American bank. This was followed by more huge acquisitions, including Fleet Boston Financial in 2004 and the credit card giant MBNA in 2006. Then, during the 2008 financial crisis, in a move that was both controversial and transformative, Bank of America acquired the failing mortgage lender Countrywide Financial and the legendary investment bank Merrill Lynch, saving it from bankruptcy. These deals cemented its status as a financial supermarket. Today, Bank of America's immense scale is hard to overstate. In 2024, it generated total revenue of nearly $102 billion and employed around 213,000 people. Its stability and importance are underscored by its largest shareholder, Berkshire Hathaway, the firm led for decades by legendary investor Warren Buffett. If you enjoy stories about visionary founders who broke the rules and changed the world, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. You won't want to miss our next deep dive into the hidden histories of business and finance. A.P. Giannini passed away in 1949, but his philosophy lives on. He was a banker who never actually wanted to be a millionaire himself. He believed his purpose wasn't to accumulate personal wealth, but to build things and empower other people to succeed. He saw banking not as a tool for the elite, but as something closer to a public utility, a vital service that should be for everyone. The story of the immigrant's son who built the world's largest bank from a plank and two barrels is more than just a biography. It's a powerful lesson in defiant vision. It proves that you can transform an entire industry, not by following its rules, but by smashing its most basic assumptions. A.P. Giannini didn't just build a bank, he built a new belief system. One where the most valuable asset wasn't the money in the vault, but the character of the person walking through the door.